Hello. This is Ash with yet another episode of E-Wasted. In this episode, we are going over this little ditty of a system here. It's a mostly new 8th gen i7 gamer here. Yes, something like that. Let me be able to turn the browser to the. There we go. Forced dark mode. Is that better? Easier on people's eyes? Sure, why not? But anyways, we'll switch this over, I guess, to the browser view, and we'll get the video going here. Get the build video going on. Yes. What am I doing here? Oh, I've got a case. I've got a case, and I'm doing something with it. But yes, look at this system as listed on the list of Craig. 8th gen i7 gamer, i7-8700K, 256 gigabyte M.2, 1 terabyte hard drive, 16 gigs of RAM, and a GTX 1070 8 gigabyte. Listed for 450, which, people lowballing as they do would probably be around 400. But this one ended up being different. Quite different, actually, as far as how I got rid of it. It actually, like the CPU itself, I got it from a guy kind of local in my neighborhood off the old Facebook marketplace for a whopping $30, which is a heck of a steal. I really appreciated the deal. And then once I got the system together, he partially bought, partially traded for the whole system. So it was a kind of win-win. I think it was like 300 cash and then some other stuff in trade, or I don't know, something like that. But it was a pretty good deal. I appreciated doing business with the fella. But anyways, we'll look at what's inside this beast of a budget gamer here. I mean, what lies beneath the facade they call a case. But yes, I got this. Ooh, the Machinist H110 motherboard. Look at that. I think that's on sale right now. 32. It was up to like almost 50 last time I looked at it. I might have to order up another one of these. They're not a super bad deal for a new motherboard. It's like got old guts, old PCB or something, because I think that's how they do it. That's why you see the super dated BIOS in these systems. And the other downside is, as I've mentioned before, though they have 4-pin fan connectors, they have no fan control. So it's best to just use a 3-pin CPU fan that's going to be low RPM and quiet for you anyways. But yes, this is the motherboard here. All the different angles to view it. The back side, it's got the VGA and the HDMI, yes, for video outs. And I actually used this board again for another system we'll do, which I coupled it with this RX 50 or 5600 XT that I got that only had an HDMI out. So it was good to have a chip that had the onboard video just to offer something else, because like I tested it running 3 monitors and both of these work, simultaneously. So if you got a graphics card that only has one video out and a CPU that pushes video out through the motherboard, you can have 3 monitors going off that kind of setup. I mean, most things these days you need to get some kind of adapter for the VGA. But in my case, I was just doing a test setup, and I've got at least a few really crappy monitors that run on VGA lying around. So I was able to just hook up an old crappy VGA monitor just to test the port. But anyways, moving along to the case, as I was saying, yes, this beast of a case that we're seeing, which the picture here looks, a little better in quality than the picture I took here, even though it might be, I don't know why this one was degraded, but, it still looks good in that, but not as good as the Newegg picture. I mean, that looks pretty crisp there, right? Yes. Anyways, other views of the case. Pre-installed 2x120mm fans. Yes, yes, yes. So with this one, I went minimal with the RGB. Just did the one red fan in the middle of the front. Just the red vortex staring to the red eye. And then I went, pretty cheap on the power supply for this one too, just because it doesn't really suck a lot of power here. So we look at, there are, this is the PCBuilds.com power supply calculator, which I started using this like for years and years. I used the Outer Vision power supply calculator just because it was, seemed pretty dependable. They had a good staff that was constantly updating all the components that you could have in there. I've tried a lot of the other ones out, and they just don't list like all components that you can do workups on multiple systems. So, anyways, we're looking at with the i7-8700K GTX 1070, 8 gigs, and then one SATA SSD. And let me see, was there a wait, I didn't do there we go. There's one of those too. This one had a terabyte hard drive as well. So there we go. Go to calculate. Wattage here. Beep, beep, boop, boop. And it estimates TDP of 314 watts. And saying a minimum of 400 watt power supply. So, what did we go with then? We went with off Newegg. Oh, they jacked up the price all of a sudden. I just bought this again for like $19.99, but I don't know what's going on here. Wow. That's pretty funny. Up to $40. I would not buy that for $40. $20, yes. That's a good $20 power supply. $40, no, because you can go to Amazon and you can get like this new Thermaltake 600 watt, like 80 plus white for $40, which is that price range. That's what I would do. But for $20, $19.99, this 400 watt Raid Max is pretty good. I've used these over the years, and they're pretty steady. They might crap out after a year or something. I've seen them do that, but usually they show up and they work, and they work for at least a year from what I've seen. But maybe longer. It really depends. All in all, I've seen Raid Max in a lot of pre-built computers even before they had these out, and they seem to be pretty dependable from what I'd tried before. So it's a long history of a kind of a cheap go-to power supply for me anyways. Some people will tell you they're complete shit, don't touch them, and they're probably right in some respects. If you have the money, go buy something more expensive, more reliable. Go do it. Yeah. But what else do we have going here? Moving down the line. So yes, if you were going to go buy an i7-8700K, this is when I did a search a few weeks ago when I was putting this list of browser tabs together to do this little video here. This is what I found, like $94, $94.70. So yeah, $30, that's a pretty deal. It's like a third the price you could get it, or at least during this search time that you could find it on eBay. So yeah, I was lucky to get that deal on the CPU. Yes, I was. But maybe we will switch over and watch what I'm doing with the build here. So what do we got going on? I got the motherboard in. What am I doing there, huh? It is about halfway done. Okay, I've got my big fat head in the way. You can see my beanie. Look at that. Must be doing something important in there. Oh, yeah. Tightening something up. Yep, I already got the red fan in. Check that out. Cool. Anyways, we will go back and talk about the components here. So, the i7-8700K. Looking at it, multi-thread rating, supposed to get around a 13,586 and single thread around 2721. Yeah. But let's see, what did I get running my benchmark on the pass mark to? How did it compare to this? Let's see here. Is that, did I have it loaded up there? Yes, I do. Okay. So yeah, so for some reason when I ran it, it only got like 10,659, and then 2592. And I went through, the BIOS settings, and from what I could tell, I know I had the hyper threading on. I know I had the turbo boost on, and there may be like some other weird mislabeled settings because, like I was saying with these motherboards, they got the old PCB or whatever, and it's like a really dated BIOS. So you get all these different features to turn on and off in there, and it doesn't track the same as like a newer motherboard. It's a whole different experience. So you might be able to fine tune that to get you know get what you're looking for performance wise, but it might just be these motherboards too. I mean, gonna have to try that out. Um, some of the time next time I get a i7-8700K, see how it compares. I do have an upcoming build with the 9700K, so we'll see how that does. Because this time I just got a used ASRock or Asus or something like one of the mainstream brands, just to see if it just automatically cranks out the similar benchmark like I'd expect it to, not be kind of like lagging, slacking, whatever you might call it. But the other thing we look at here was the graphics card, which scored extremely high. I mean, this was like a regular, I think it was a regular 1070, or what did I have it listed as? It's yep, just a regular old 1070 here. I think it's like the MSI variant. Look at that. Yep, it's the MSI, that beast right there. But I mean, usually those score like maybe like I get a 12,000 score at the high end on Passmark, something like that, 11,000, 12,000, but like 15,000, I don't know what it was doing. So yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so but the average score listed on Passmark is 13,504. So it's kind of hit and a miss because we look at the CPU, and we got significantly less on the multi-thread, but then with the GPU we scored significantly higher. So I don't know. It's kind of good, kind of bad, kind of mixed. But if you were going to buy an MSI GeForce GTX 1078GB DDR5 graphics card, what would you pay if you went to eBay? And when I did this search, it said 8125 was about the lowest for this model I could find on the Buy It Now. But yeah, I think I paid like 60 for that card. I had to, drive somewhere and meet someone in a Walmart parking lot and wait 15 to 20 minutes, something like that. But, I think it was still worth it, saving 20 bucks off the eBay price. It was only right across town, really. It's, you know, you get what you get. Sometimes you get a sweet deal. Sometimes you got to wait a little extra time. Sometimes you get screwed over. This is the rolling the dice of the random marketplace parking lot meetup. What are you gonna come out with? So yeah, and here is the memory that I put in here. 16 gigs, two 8 gig sticks of the 3200 megahertz. Yep, and pretty decent little deal here. And 22 bucks for new 16 gig kit. That's the King Bank brand. I mean, yeah, not too shabby. And then what else do we have here? Oh yes, the Timetech 512 gigabyte NVMe PCI Express M.2 NVMe. Yes, the 2280 3D NAND. Yeah, it's pretty decent. So what did that test out as? So for that, NVMe tested out at like 13,547, which isn't really that great. I mean, yeah, not the best, but still definitely better than your 2.5 SATA, and way better than your any kind of spinner hard drive you're getting. So it's still definitely definitely a functional system here. Looking at the overall spread, and that's kind of what Passmark says too. I don't say, yeah, I don't know even know if we can zoom in that far to see the overall Passmark rating here. I think it's fairly passable on the low end of a entry gamer. Low to entry level gamer, you can play most titles, even newer stuff. You should be able to pull off low to medium settings, 1080p. You might have some really weird specific titles that require certain things that maybe it won't do, but most of them you're gonna be able to do it. It's like the card's got enough brute force behind it where it's gonna pull it off. That's my take on it, anyways. But yeah, we're getting closer to the end of that video here. So were there any like takeaway things about this? I mean, it was it was a good system to build. Nice, it's like $40 for the case. I mean, $30 for the CPU, right around $40 for the motherboard, a little over $20 for the RAM, $20 for the power supplies. All in all, pretty inexpensive. Definitely on a little over $200, maybe so 250 to put together. Yeah, not a bad deal at all. I mean, and I think the look turns out pretty good. Nice sleek black, one big blaring red butthole light in the front. I mean, it's amazing. Just look at it. Just look at it there, right there. Yes, the gaping red hole, like a little volcano in the front. It's amazing. But yeah. Anyways, the build video is over and I'm done blabbering about all the browser stuff we've been going through. So I guess that's it for this episode. And you can catch me on the next one. So with that, we will talk to you later.